Well, hello everybody. I went out there and harvested me a bunch of my greens. I got tired of picking them. I think I got a great big pot full, so I'm going to finish washing these, and I got me 2 strips of bacon frying in the pan or the pot, my pressure cooker. I'm going to fry the bacon good and crispy, leave it in the pot, add some water, add my greens, and put them under pressure. It's getting too dark for me to see out there, so and these are my walking stick kale or collards, tree collards. It's a combination of a lot of it. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and wash them through twice. I think this is about all I'm going to be able to get in my pot. Until they cook down some. Now you can cook these or you can blanch them and then you can freeze them. You can take individual baggies and like freeze the amount that you want to take out for a meal for one time. My freezer's full. I don't think I can get anything else in there. But I'm going to go ahead and cook a pot full of these. So I'll have them cooked and ready to eat this week. That way I don't have to mess with cooking them each time. And I check them good before I bring them in the house to make sure there's no bugs or creepy crawlers on them. There's no spiders. And the water's pretty clear. So I guess we're good to go as soon as my bacon gets cooked. Sometimes I'd rather just cook them and then freeze them. That way when, you know, later on, if I decide I want to eat some greens, I can just take them out, heat them up in the microwave, and they're already cooked. Because I like to do a big pot full, as much as I can get in this pot at one time to cook. That way I don't have to cook them so often. And we don't put that much water in them when you've got them in a pressure pot. You don't have to put that much water. and hopefully by the time they get done, I'll have the lid off and basically cook the water out of them. They're doing some work on the house next door. I kept hearing car doors slam. Didn't know what that was. These couple of pieces of bacon cooked. And that's the only seasoning I'm going to put on them, is that those couple of strips of bacon. Because I found you try to season greens too much and you get them too salty and then you can't eat them. And by the time the greens are done, the bacon is going to be cooked all to pieces anyway. So you don't have to take it out and break it up. It'll cook into little pieces. It'll come apart. But I love to get it crispy first. Woo, touched the pot with my arm. And that's not a fun thing to do. Now I'm just going to start breaking them up in there. I cut most of the stems off before I even brought them in the house, because I put that in the compost. And I can chop it up after I get them cooked too. Like this big leaf here, I just tear it up in a couple of pieces. I'm going to go ahead and add some water. Yeah, that's going to be a pot full. I'll have to cook them down a little bit before I get the lid on. So that is a pot full. And we're going to put them under pressure for a little bit, so that's going to help cook them too. Wanted to see how much we had in there. I don't want to get too much water in there. I burnt my arm on that pot, y'all. Don't feel too good. But we'll get them cooked down just a tiny bit before I put the lid on. And I need to get my weight. And it's got the different weights. It's got 10, 15, and 5 pounds of pressure. I'll probably put it on about 5. I don't know where my other one is. I've got 2 of them. The other one was down here somewhere, but I usually keep them in this top drawer. And I'm sure it's in here somewhere. What that is. I know I put it back in here after I used it the last time. Oh well, I got dirty dishes. This thing can be thrown away. I got seeds up here drying more. I need to stop keeping so many seeds, I guess. But I'd say that's a pot full right there. I like to get the seal wet before I put the lid on. Y'all, I have got to... I splattered water all over the sink, y'all. Can't take me anywhere. I want it getting good and hot before I put the lid on. That wind is getting up out there. I got to go out there and harvest the rest of them tomorrow. I wish my son was closer. I'd give him a mess of them. I don't want to have to drive an hour and a half just to give them to him, though. I've still got some that I put up all through the growing season in the freezer right now of them. And there's a little safety valve under there. It'll drop down when it starts getting hot. That was just that water I soaked up off the counter. I was about to make a mess, y'all. But I thought I'd do this and show you. I just went out and harvested a bunch of greens, mostly collards and walking stick kale. There's a handful of perpetual spinach in there. I didn't have time to get it all because it got dark. But I said I'm going to come in here and cook them anyway, so I thought I'd video it, show you what I do. You can do it like this, or you can blanch your greens and freeze them. I prefer to cook them. I mean, if I have time to go ahead and get them in the pot and get them cooked, and then when they're cooked, I take them out, divide them up into individual packages, enough for 2 or 3, maybe 4 servings, and I freeze them in individual packages. That way, whenever I want greens, I just take out a package and let it thaw out, put it in the microwave, and heat it up. And they're already cooked for me. Yeah, I know that other one is in there somewhere. It's under something. Or I could have accidentally dropped it in the second drawer. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. A weight is a weight. They both work the same way. In fact, this is the one that came with this pressure pot, so it should work better. Oh, I ran errands today, picked up a few things that the store was out of, like coffee creamer. Because, you know, the coffee creamer, the powdered creamer, is a non-dairy creamer, so I can use that all I want in my coffee or my hot tea, and it doesn't bother me because I'm not allergic to it. Where I can't use the heavy cream or the half and half, whole milk, stuff like that. Now, if I have 2%, I could use it. But anything more than that, it's going to make me nauseated, so I stay away from it. And that's one reason why I don't add more heavy creams and milks and stuff like that in a lot of recipes that I cook. Because, hey, I wouldn't be able to eat them. I mean, I made that tortilla soup and it was wonderful, but it had so much cream in it. You know, I was throwing up. But it was good. I ate it anyway, even though it made me sick. But I stay away from cooking recipes with a lot of cream in it. I grew up, my mom had allergies. I don't think my brothers really had allergies to amount to anything, but me and my mom did. So everything she cooked was something that the whole family could eat. So she stayed away from putting a lot of dairy products in the recipes that she fixed. And I did that too with my kids. I mean, that's the way I cooked the whole time they lived at home. Not only because money was scarce, but I was allergic to all that cream and whole milk, so I couldn't drink it. I bought the whole milk for my kids. Don't get me wrong, they weren't deprived of drinking milk just because I have allergies to it, but I try to keep my recipes the food that I prepared for me and my kids, simple, that didn't have a lot of cream and stuff in it. Because I knew if I did it that way, I couldn't eat it. I mean, I ate my weight in chili beans and chicken and rice, chicken and dumplings, all that kind of stuff that you did not put cream in or milk in. Spaghetti, a lot of pasta, but we didn't cover it, we didn't overpower it with cheese either. It's not quite hot yet, not getting hot. It will. Those greens were cold. even though I washed them in warm water to try to kind of warm them up a little. And I might go ahead and put those on the back burner. So they'll be close to this exhaust fan. Because we're still in the 80s here. It was 85 before dark. I don't know what it is now. But it'll get hot in this house with this just one burner going, cooking. So I'll turn my exhaust fan on. But like I said, in my pressure pot, I'll leave the heat turned up until it starts to jiggle. Then I'm going to turn the heat down so it'll kind of jiggle just once in a while. You don't want a steady jiggle, because if you get a steady jiggle, it's too hot. There's too much pressure. You want to turn it down so it'll just like jiggle like now, and it'll wait a minute or so, and then it'll jiggle again. Then you know you're safe. And I'm going to go ahead and cook them for like 30, 45 minutes, something like that. After it starts jiggling. And then I'll bring y'all back when they're almost, pretty close to being done. Well, y'all, we're back. And our greens have been cooking for under 5 pounds of pressure for about an hour. So I'm going to turn the heat off. And what I'm going to do is put them in the sink and turn some cold water on the pot. Because you don't want to try to take that lid off till you get the pressure off of it. And the quickest way I know to do that is to put it in the sink and run cold water on it. And when you can take that off and it's not doing anything up there, you know the pressure's on. 5 pounds was not too much pressure. And I've got a latch on my handle, so I have to unlatch it. Let's see how these things are doing. Like they're doing pretty good. I need to get them out in a bowl that will fit what I got collards there, so I can chop them up when it cools off a little. That big one might do. And yes, I'm going to get the bacon and everything out. I gotta let those cool down just a little bit. And what I'm gonna do, let's see. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of bouillon in there. I'm going to add a little bit more water. That's chicken bouillon, y'all. You can tell I didn't decide to do this till the last minute. That's about a half a cup of cornmeal. Let me get my flour. Put about a half a cup of flour in there. Mix that up. Oh, we're going to go ahead and get our hot. And I always put about a half a teaspoon of sugar. Not quite even a half a teaspoon of sugar. Whoops, I just made a mess. I threw flour all over the stove. And I'm going to put just a tad of salt. I threw flour everywhere, y'all. I'm going to put 1 egg in here. I got some of my whipping cream, my heavy cream. I'm not going to put too much in there, but I wanted some. A little bit of water. I mean, you can put all whipping cream if you want, or all heavy cream, whole milk, 2% milk, whatever, carnation milk. Now we did that with the turnips that we did the other day, but you do it with collards too, or people back in the South do it. I got it to boiling good. Maybe you can see that. Whoops. I'm not going to be cooking tomorrow, I can tell you that right now. Drop them in about a spoonful. I mean, you can see the consistency. It's a little bit hard, not real watery, because you want it to stick to your spoon, so you can just drop them off a spoonful at a time. Really wanted it hotter than that. But back home, when you cook rutabagas or turnips, collard greens, either one, you fix dumplings, cornbread dumplings. Get it all off the bottom of the spoon. You don't get all of it off the bottom of the spoon when you go to put it in the pot. But there. But our dumplings are cooking in there. You don't want to stir them. Just let them cook. I could have made a few more, but I really didn't want more. Just like when you make chicken and dumplings with, you just make that with flour. You don't stir them. If you stir them, it's going to break them up. I didn't have that hot enough really when I put them in there, but oh well. Get me a bowl over here to put this in that I have a lid to. See, I've got this one. Okay, what did I do with the orange one? Let me see if I can find my orange bowl. I don't know where I put it. Oh, it's up here. Because I'm not eating these tonight. See, once they start cooking, you can kind of try to turn them over. Sometimes they'll turn over on their own. And sometimes they'll break apart. You see, they grow a little bit. They don't stay that small size, so. I put some aloe vera on my arm. I stuck it to the pot a while ago. But it takes about, I don't know, 15 minutes or so for that to cook. And I turn mine so that the top doesn't get so dried out. You can put a lid on it, turn the heat down a little bit, and let them cook with the lid on, and that keeps the top moist. Turn it down just a tiny bit. Put the lid on it, but I'm not going to fasten it tight. And this is my chopper. This is what I chop my greens with. I showed it in one video one time, and one of the people left me a message saying, "Oh, that's a biscuit cutter." Well, I don't know. I've never tried to cut biscuits with it. Try to get this up here. But I've always chopped my greens, and you want to let them cool off a little bit. But then you can just chop them up, so you're not trying to eat that whole big leaf. You see, this thing has got a serrated edge. It's got a sharp. See the points? It's got a cutting edge on that. And it's made, I think, especially to do something like this. This is what I've always used it at. It's the only thing I've ever seen anybody use it for, is a food chopper. And you have to get it in kind of a big bowl or you'll burn your hand, because these greens are still hot. kind of stir them up to get some of the big leaves from the bottom on the top. And I try to get a little bit of the liquid out after I do that. Best way is to kind of put a bowl in there and mash it down. I mean, you don't want to get every bit of it out. They don't have to be dry, but you don't want them dripping in the water either, the water they were cooked in. And I'm going to, if I had a little bit of bacon grease, I'd pour that in there, but I don't, so I'm just going to spray a little bit of olive oil in there, and we're going to mix it up. And I'm going to put my greens right here in this bowl. I've got another light that I think I'm going to try using that one of my anonymous subscriber had sent to me. And I haven't tried to use it in the kitchen yet because I'm so limited with space. But I'm beginning to wonder if it might be a good idea to try it. But see, I've chopped the bacon up in there. Here, we'll taste it. You can taste it. Let's get back over here a little ways. You can taste it. Taste the greens. That's pretty good. And I think my dumplings are about done. I'm going to get one of the little ones out. It's got plenty of liquid with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these off. And I'm going to put the lid on it. And I'm just going to let them sit there and cool off. But here's our dumplings. And I know that's hot. Y'all take a bite. Collard dumplings. Whoa, hot. That's good, y'all. But I'm full. I've already had dinner. But that's going to be some good eating tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because I'll have greens for every meal for a week now. And I'll put my dumplings in this bowl after I let them sit there, because they'll continue cooking while the heat is off and the lid's on it. They'll also start to absorb some of the liquid that's in there, so it'll absorb all that the collard water with the chicken broth that was in there, and it'll give these dumplings a really good taste. But here, I want you to see them since they've stopped actually cooking. See those dumplings? They didn't fall apart. They stayed together pretty much. But that's the way you have to do it. You got to get your liquid boiling hot. Make your dumplings and don't get them too watery. Get them so you can spoon them off with a spoon. Drop them in your liquid. Do not stir them. If you stir them, you're going to break them apart. Let them cook till they're about halfway done, and they start looking like they're drying up on the top, and then you can flip them over and let them cook on the other side. And you can keep rolling them over, or just put the lid on it and leave it. Just don't get the temperature so high that it's going to boil over on you. But then just leave them there. Leave them there and let them cool off, and they'll absorb some of that liquid, and that's going to be some good eating tomorrow. I would eat them tonight, but I ate one of my cowboy burritos. Yeah, I had, some of that cowboy filling left that I made the stuffed bell peppers. So I made me a cowboy burrito, and that was so good. That was my dinner tonight, so I can't eat any of this. This will be for tomorrow. I'll have burritos, I'll have collards, I'll have dumplings. So I'm not going to have to cook for another couple of days, hopefully. But maybe this has cooled off a little bit. Take a bite. That good hot dumpling. And you don't need no cornbread with it. Your dumplings are your bread, your dumpling, and the whole works. So there you go. I showed you how to cook collards, how to chop them up, and how to make your dumplings in the liquid. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye now.